Well, it certainly has been a scorcher of a day across the bulk of England as well as even eastern Wales, but a very different story across Scotland today. We had sunshine, yes, but very windy conditions. Also, the temperatures only in the high teens, the low 20s in quite a few places. This was a little capture I took at Invergordon along the shoreline late this morning. Choppy waters over the Cromarty Firth, as you can see here. A lot of shaking around there. I do apologise. It was actually quite hard to hold my phone with the winds being pretty strong coming in out of the west southwest this afternoon. The trees getting whipped around quite significantly as well. And you know we recorded wind speeds in excess of 50 miles an hour at Stornoway and up over the 4,000 foot level of the Cairngorm Plateau. 85 mile per hour winds early this morning. So some very big contrasts across the British Isles as expected. And this is the latest temperatures here off the Meteosail website. Only 15 degrees, as you can see here at Loch Lisgarnock, 14 at Tulloch Bridge, 15, 14 degrees even around the Greater Glasgow area, and even down towards Beesdale on the St Bees Head, should I say, actually, on the Cumbria coast, we've got temperatures of only. It was only about 13.5. Now, Dundrennan, actually, on the south coast of Scotland this afternoon, recording a temperature of only 13.5 Celsius. Now, even down across Teesdale, for example, we had temperatures of only 19, 20 degrees, whereas only 70 odd miles to the south at Leconfield in Lincolnshire, we had a temperature of 30 Celsius. So, it's been very noticeable the contrast between the north of England and down in through Yorkshire, Cheshire, for example, Derbyshire. That's where the temperatures really rose very significantly indeed. And we've got a frontal system just right through the north of England at the moment, separating the fresh air mass versus the hot continental air mass. As you can see here, if we look at the temperature profile for Europe, you can see it has been, of course, a very, very hot day indeed. Now, the temperature I haven't showed yet, and I do apologise, but the actual highest temperature for the UK, according to Meteosail, it looks as if there's been a 33 Celsius recorded at Norwich Weather Centre. So that would be the hottest temperature in the UK, I think. Of this very short-lived hot spell, because of course by the time we reach Sunday, places that are in the low 30s may struggle to even hit 20 degrees on Sunday afternoon. So the heat is coming fast, but it's also departing very quickly as well. And now that we've got the heat core now starting to shift out of northern Spain into France, we're keeping our eyes very closely on France, because we could be talking about some very, very significant heat, especially tomorrow, where it looks likely to peak either tomorrow or Sunday in France. So while the heat then retreats back into the continent on Sunday, it looks as if the temperatures are going to continue to rise over France in particular. Not so much Spain, into France. That is where the core of the heat is going to be, and we could be talking about temperatures 42 to 44 Celsius, which is remarkable. Now, I want to say one thing, that the temperature hit 40 degrees yesterday in France, and that is the earliest we've ever seen a temperature of 40 Celsius in France before the solstice, and we could be talking about temperatures even higher through the course of tomorrow and or Sunday. So you can see here, this is the current temperatures across the continent at the moment. Extreme heat once again across Spain. The earliest heat wave of this magnitude in Spain, I believe, since 1981. So very significant stuff indeed. And we're seeing temperatures into the 30s, of course, across parts of the Low Countries as well. So we've got this current setup here in place. Let's get back to the current setup. And you can see here off the GFS, we've got this area of low pressure centred just to the southeast of Iceland. A very deep area of low pressure, as you can see here, hence why we've seen such strong winds over particularly the northern half of the British Isles, Northern Ireland as well, through the course of today, and those gusty winds will maintain themselves through the rest of today. But much fresher conditions across the north as opposed across to the south, and we don't get much of a bigger contrast, a bigger range in temperature between the northwest and the southeast as we have done today. And it's going to be interesting to see as the frontal system moves south. It's going to be interesting to see how hot the southeast corner of the UK can get tomorrow. So we've got, of course, this setup. This is the latest radar chart here of weather online. You can see here the much fresh air. You can see these little embedded cirrus clouds getting whipped in off the Atlantic. This is where the fresh air is. We've got 850 temperatures, sub-freezing actually here, whereas we've got 850s of 15 to 20 Celsius along the south coast. And that warm air will actually shift a little bit further north through the course of the next 12 hours before it starts to retreat back over the channel and into France once again. And it's because we've got this frontal system draped across the north of England, hence why St. Bees Head is only seen 13, 14 Celsius this afternoon. Wind chills in single figures, amazing stuff. But get south of that frontal system with the bank of cloud, and we've had clear skies and hot sunshine through the course of today. And then, of course, we're to the north of that here in Scotland. We've got windy conditions associated with that low. You can see even the curl of cloud just off Iceland here, the centre of that low pressure system. And, of course, the winds coming around that, much fresher air getting drawn in around that circulation, as you can see here. So this is back to the overview chart here. And as I play through the next several hours, that center of low pressure actually deepens to 980 millibars according to the GFS, and then it's forcing the frontal system southwards. And we'll keep our eyes on that because through the course of tomorrow, from about mid-morning through the afternoon period, that frontal system will become the trigger. The temperatures rise at the surface very, very quickly through the course of tomorrow morning, and then of course that frontal system becomes activated, producing convective showers and thunderstorms. May see some very significant rainfall in a very short space of time in a very short area, a very small area as well. You might only have several miles where you've got these showers developing along this frontal system. So that will take place through the course of tomorrow, and then eventually that frontal system moves south out of the UK, and basically the air coming around the back of this circulation will draw much fresher air right across the British Isles as opposed to just across the north of Scotland and north of England as we've seen today. Then that system will then kind of start to fade as we go in through the rest of the weekend. Keeping our eyes on that feature as it sinks southwards here, we may see increased wind as well as rainfall. I don't think we're going to get much in the way of rainfall, but we will get a northerly airflow that will bring, like I say, basically from north coast to south coast, temperatures struggling to get much above 20 Celsius. What a difference compared to what we've got at the moment here. We're also keeping our eyes on this feature in the Bay of Biscay. I made mention of that in the last couple of days. That may try to bring some showers, possible thunderstorms northwards across the channel and into the southern counties of England as we push through the rest of the weekend here. And then as we go in through the early portion of next week, we've got a feature that comes down, bringing increased cloud and a little bit of rain with that as well, and a northerly flow, so we'll bring fresher, cooler conditions across the northern and much of the UK, really, in fact. Looking at the 850 millibar temperatures here, you can see what takes place. A nice representation of the temperature profile, even at the surface. So this is the setup at the moment. Northwest of the British Isles, seeing 850s at or slightly below freezing. We've got the 20 Celsius line across along the south coast. And of course, we've got the 15 Celsius isotherm at 850 well in to England. As I play through the loop, that warmth gets retreated back into the near continent, and then we're watching the very, very intense hot air getting lifted out of Spain and up into the heart of France during the course of tomorrow. As I play through, you can see here much cooler air coming into Scotland, into the UK as a whole, while we've got a plume of exceptional heat going up into France and bringing some torrid temperatures to France during the course of tomorrow. Temperatures widely into the 40s. If we can have a wee quick look at the 850 temperatures over France, it will show you just how extreme these temperatures are going to be. And we're going to be able to see, here we go, and you can see here some brutal conditions overall. So we've got the temperatures at 850 of 25 Celsius into the south of France, but widespread 850 temperatures of 20 to 25 Celsius, even close to Nantes, Rennes. The western portion of France in particular could see some of the hottest temperatures here. If we can have a quick look at the maximum temperatures here for tomorrow, and you can see exactly what the GFS is indicating here. So look at the widespread coverage of 40s. We've got 44 Celsius, as you can see here, in the southwest corner of France tomorrow afternoon. Upper 30s across Paris, and we are just going to wipe records out across a large swathe of France. This is probably going to be the hottest June day on record for the country of France, and this comes after the hottest May on record for France as well here. So just brutal conditions indeed here. So the heat wave, really as of tomorrow, will be out of the way, will be wiped out. The intense heat peaks over France through the course of Saturday and possibly even Sunday as well here. So plenty of things going on. Keep it right here on my YouTube channel, and I will continue to look at this, talk about the records that are falling and all the weather conditions that we can expect over the next several days to week or so. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday. I'll be back again tomorrow with more. Bye for now.